during one of his most talked about podcast moments. Joe Rogan went deep on the insanely hyped Jake Paul versus Gervonta Davis showdown, calling it the kind of fight that could turn dangerous real fast. He laid heavy focus on the drastic difference in size, reminding everyone that weight divisions exist in combat sports for a reason. Rogan explained that while Jake's frame and raw strength may seem like a major advantage, Gervonta's lightning speed and refined skill make the matchup strangely fascinating. Yet, underneath all that excitement, Rogan warned that this could easily cross the line from competitive to reckless, where size stops being strategy and starts being risk.
My opinion is, I just want to say, in case someone calls me into court, I'm an idiot and I don't know nothing. And don't take my advice.
I love the Saudis.
Don't take my opinion.
I love the Israeli government. I love everybody.
That had nothing to do with them.
Hmm?
That was Jake Paul promoting it. You know, it's just doesn't bother me.
There's compromising the sport, and that's like bad. It's just like
if I bet on it,
watching it with people who are so in on it, and then also the sports betting apps. They introduced like chat apps in them in Australia, so it's like they're trying to take the place of social media companies where you go together and you meet your friends. Like betting should be exciting enough without having a weird.
They're just trying to draw you in. They're just trying to make money, right? So they're trying to draw you in.
Rogan didn't just mention the size difference. He hammered it home again and again. He highlighted how Jake Paul usually walks around the cruiserweight range of nearly 195 to 200 pounds, while Gervonta Davis has spent most of his career mastering the lightweight class near 135 pounds. The visual alone tells a story. One man built like a tank, the other sculpted for precision. To Rogan, that 60-plus pound difference isn't just a number. It's the line between logic and danger.
WBA lightweight champion Gervonta Davis, who's unbeaten in 31 professional contests, takes on the self-proclaimed problem child, Jake Paul, one of the most influential and marketable global personalities. Paul and Davis square off in Miami after doubts around the fight being sanctioned in Georgia triggered a change in venue. Neither fighter can weigh more than 195 pounds. The weight is perhaps the most surprising factor. Paul has boxed most of his career around 200 pounds, the cruiserweight limit, but did tip the scales at 227 pounds when he faced off against Iron Mike Tyson last year. Davis, much smaller in stature, competes at the 135-pound mark and has also won world honours at super featherweight. And despite some discussions about possibly dropping down to 10 ounces, the pair seem set to wear 12-ounce gloves. And in terms of distance, despite the exhibition tag, the fight will play out over 10 3-minute rounds with 3 scoring judges at ringside, but the result will not be officially recorded on their professional records.
The criticism hasn't just come from fans. Boxing purists and athletic authorities are questioning the entire setup. Many argue that such a massive gap would never be sanctioned under proper professional rules. Even in exhibition terms, they say this kind of weight mismatch bends the sports code of fairness. They fear it's less about competition and more about putting on a risky show, where the balance of safety and integrity gets thrown straight out the window.
He should beat Jake Paul, shouldn't he?
No, he shouldn't.
You don't think... Sorry, so... I thought we were all unanimous here. Do you think that
shouldn't.
Do you think Jake Paul beats Gervonta Davis?
70 pounds is 70 pounds.
Gervonta Davis is very small. 5'5".
He's tiny, bro.
5'5".
That's what I'm saying.
Jake Paul
He's a little
6'1".
man.
If Jake Paul's tucking up
move on
and absorbing punishment and walking forward, then look, there's a weight advantage.
Joe Rogan's longtime friend and fellow commentator, Brendan Schaub, described it bluntly. This feels more like spectacle than sport. He couldn't wrap his head around a matchup between a 135-pound fighter and a man touching 200 pounds, calling it insanity from any traditional boxing lens. Beyond entertainment, Schaub voiced genuine concern about the impact difference. When a fighter carries that much extra mass, every punch hits with exponentially more power. That kind of imbalance doesn't just tilt odds, it invites danger.
In boxing, so you got Canelo Crawford, you got Mike Tyson, Floyd Mayweather, that's happening. And then you have Jake Paul, Gervonta Davis. That's the state of boxing.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Let that sink in.
Jake
that's
Paul,
right
Gervonta Davis is so crazy. Yeah. 135 versus 200. That is so
Are
nuts.
they all?
Yeah.
They're all expedition.
None of them are.
exhibitions?
I mean,
They're exhibitions.
But what does that mean?
Just means that you don't really. Nobody wins.
they're not.
Right.
It's kind of. I mean,
It's weird.
I don't want
Tyson
Jake to
versus
sue me.
Mayweather
They're not.
was crazy,
It's
too.
not like a real scrap. It's
So-
not real.
Really? So they're not trying to knock each other out?
No.
Well, Mike Tyson and Floyd Mayweather don't like each other. They have not liked each other forever.
Tyson and Mayweather.
Yes,
But they like
Mike
money.
Tyson and Mayweather don't like each other.
Huh.
If there's a fight that might be real, like where Mike Tyson might say, "I'm going to knock this out," or "I'm going to try to knock this motherfucker
It would be
out."
Due to the mounting backlash, new safety measures are being built into this event. The fight has now been labeled strictly as an exhibition, meaning it won't affect either fighter's professional record. There will be specific limits: a 195-pound catch weight, larger gloves, and judges on standby, even though it's technically not a real contest. These tweaks are attempts to disguise chaos under control. Many still question whether regulation can truly balance physics.
If you do fight, what weight would it be at?
195.
Oh, wow. So he would go all the way from 40 to 95?
Yeah, I mean, it would be an exhibition.
Okay. Okay. But, and so what does that mean? Is that 3-minute rounds?
Yeah, 10 3-minute rounds.
And when you say exhibition, like, what are the restrictions on that?
No restrictions, just the fact that like we couldn't actually get it professionally sanctioned.
Daniel Cormier joined the conversation, echoing those same alarms. He made it clear that while Gervonta Davis might be the more polished boxer, the sheer weight difference is beyond reason. Cormier argued that Jake Paul's size isn't just an advantage, it's an unfair physical wall. To him, this bout crosses far past the normal rules of competition and dives into experimental territory. He wondered aloud how such an unbalanced contest ever earned a green light from those meant to protect the fighters.
It is completely just, I can't say the word that I want to say because I don't want to get canceled, but this fight should not be happening. And the press conference was embarrassing. Gervonta Davis should not have a mic in front of him. It was absolutely embarrassing watching this thing.
Why? Why, D?
Just the fact that like every time when Jake Paul would say something to Gervonta Davis, he didn't know how to answer it. He was comparing himself to like P. Diddy at moments, and I was like, "Oh my God, get a mic away from this guy. This fight shouldn't be happening." And then he didn't even know what weight they were fighting. He's like, "I thought it was
That's
190,
bad,
no,
D.
it's 195."
That was the craziest thing. That was the thing that stood out to me the most. Was that when they go, the rehydration limit or something is 195. And he goes, "Wait, I thought it was 190. Dean, that's bad. Because you know what that tells me? That tells me that even he recognizes that he's too big for him.
Yes.
He recognizes that he's too big for him.
Cormier went further, exposing a problem to many ignore extreme weight cutting. Fighters often drain themselves before wins, only to balloon back up within hours. When that's paired with an already lopsided size difference, the results can be brutal. He warned that in a fight like Paul versus Davis, where Jake could easily rehydrate and walk into the ring drastically heavier, the disadvantage becomes not just visible, but dangerous. It's not skill versus skill anymore. It's muscle against. Survival.1 may
I think it's the most dangerous thing in the world. With us, we would go on Thursday night. If I weighed 216 and I had to be 205 by Friday morning, I would get as low as I possibly could and then try to go to bed. So if I'd get to 207, I would hope that by the morning I'd be 206. I'd only have to lose a pound in the morning. So I'm dehydrated for 12, 13, 14 hours. Those guys today are going to bed at that weight, Joe, 10, 11 over, and waking up at like 4 or 5 in the morning and cutting the weight. Because they said if they cut all that weight, they don't sleep, which I can attest to. It don't matter how much melatonin you take, you're so dehydrated. You're not going to get a good night's sleep. I think it's dangerous.
Why is it dangerous?
Because you have to cut 10 pounds in 4 hours. If you don't, you're screwed. Because the worst possible feeling, you expect to lose 8, but you might lose 6 or 5.5. And then you're like,
also expressed disbelief over how loosely structured this entire event seems. From his view, the organization feels rushed, even careless. He recalled seeing Tank at the press conference, visibly unsure of what weight class he'd actually be fighting in, and to Cormier that spoke volumes. Weight divisions exist for one purpose: protection and fairness. The lack of clarity around this bout doesn't just break tradition, it betrays the foundation boxing is built on.
Jake Paul. Yesterday, they had their first press conference. One of the most recognizable things is Jake Paul is huge compared to Gervonta Davis. And two, Gervonta Davis don't even know what weight they fighting, D.
Maximum weight of 195 pounds for this exhibition. It was 190. The fight will be contested over 10 3-minute rounds.
I said it was 190.
The fight is 195 pounds, Tank, as you know.
DC, I watched this, and we have our priorities way misplaced when we're talking about boxing. Like, everybody's complaining about this Ali acting on. Like, how is something like this allowed to happen? How is Jake Paul allowed to fight Gervonta Davis? It's
I don't know.
completely unfair. It is completely just. I can't say the word that I want to say because I don't want to get canceled.
Coach Calvin Ford, Gervonta's trusted mentor, remains cautiously optimistic, yet clearly uneasy. He admits that the size difference borders on extreme, but insists Davis accepted the challenge knowingly. Still, Ford's frustration lies in the safety details, especially the glove size. He argues that 12-ounce gloves are for training, not combat. His proposal was simple. Let Davis use 8-ounce gloves for better precision, and Paul 10-ounce for fairness. But when he brought it to Paul's camp, the response was firm. No mix and match. For Ford, that refusal says it all. It's not about finding balance anymore. It's about who's willing to take the bigger risk for the spotlight.
My only concern is, the gloves. You understand what I'm saying? Because we don't fight in 12-ounce gloves. We don't use 12-ounce gloves. That's training gloves. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, that's 2 pounds away from Jake. He fights in 10s. Tank fighting 8s. So he losing 4 ounces. So my thing is, I said, they said, put Tank in 8s, put him in 10s. That makes the fight more interesting. You get what I'm saying? And we'll go from there because I understand. And I brought that question up to one of his handlers. They was, no, we don't want to do no mixed match. It's supposed to be an expedition. What, now y'all want the wins and the loss. You know what I'm saying? All these prescriptions, but you want to be great. Being great is really pushing the envelope. You know what I'm saying? Tank don't really care, So when I brought this up, he said, dang, facts. You know what I'm saying? So again, he can weigh the 10s and we weigh the 8s. Then we got to fight.